Welcome back to the Business Ignite podcast, where we light the fire for business growth and marketing success. Your hosts, Ethan Walker and Samantha Reed, bring you the latest trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies to fuel your business journey. Let's ignite your potential.
Ever notice how some websites just feel right? You land on the homepage and instantly you just get a good vibe, even before you've read anything. That's the magic of web design. It's what we're diving into today. We're going to be dissecting an article from 95 Visual. They're a creative agency, and they're all about these subtle details that make a huge difference online. Their piece is called Details of Web Design. And it really got me thinking about the stuff we usually overlook. The colors, the fonts, even just the way a form is laid out. It's like these things are speaking a secret language that influences how we experience a website.
It's fascinating how much of web design is about psychology. Often we focus on the words, but those design choices, they're sending subconscious messages about trustworthiness, professionalism. It all adds up.
Totally. And this article jumps right into some of these hidden persuaders. Like, have you ever thought about the color of a link? We click on them all the time. But why do some just feel more trustworthy than others?
It's all about visual hierarchy, guiding the eye, and building a sense of cohesion. A link that blends in too much gets lost. But if it's a weird color, or something we associate with spam, our brains basically yell, danger! Like those flashing neon signs that make you think twice.
Oh, for sure. And speaking of things that make me nervous, can we talk about forms for a second? A bad form, it can absolutely make me abandon a website.
Right. A well-designed form, it's like a friendly guide, leading you through the process. It tells you what information is needed, gives you feedback as you go, and reassures you that everything went through okay.
That's so true. I hate that feeling of submitting a form and not knowing if it worked. It's like, hello, website. Did you get my message?
Exactly. That confirmation message, even if it's just a simple thank you, it makes all the difference in managing expectations and building trust.
Yeah. It's like getting a nod from the cashier after you pay for something. You just feel better knowing it went through. And this ties into something else the article talks about, how our eyes move across a page. Apparently, we tend to scan in an F pattern, which blows my mind.
It's true. Content creators obsess over this. We stand down the left side of the page first, then make a couple of sweeps to the right. So if you want to grab someone's attention, you have to put the important stuff where their eyes are going to land first.
So it's not just about making things look pretty. It's about strategically placing information.
Absolutely. Think about a news website. The headline is huge, right? That's to grab your attention. Then you've got subheadings, and finally the actual article text. That's visual hierarchy in action, using design to guide the reader through the content.
Okay, that makes so much sense. It's like giving your reader a roadmap instead of just throwing a wall of text at them.
Precisely. And to make that roadmap even clearer, you need to use the right fonts. This article makes a great point about avoiding those overly fancy fonts, the ones that are more about being decorative than readable.
Oh, yeah, like Comic Sans. I can't even look at that font without cringing.
The Comic Sans of the internet. It's the perfect example of how not to choose a font. And it illustrates a really important point. Choosing the right font isn't just about aesthetics. It's about conveying the right tone and making sure your message is actually readable. Imagine receiving a formal letter from a bank, but it's written in Comic Sans. Would you trust it?
That's hilarious and so true. It's like showing up to a job interview wearing a clown suit. You might be memorable, but probably not for the reasons you want.
Exactly. You want a font that's both legible and appropriate for your audience and the message you're trying to convey. Like if you're running a law firm's website, you probably want something that feels professional and trustworthy. You wouldn't use the same font as, say, a children's tour company.
Okay, so we've talked about links, forms, layout, and fonts. What about color? That seems like a huge part of web design.
Color is incredibly powerful. It can evoke emotions, shape perceptions, and even influence our behavior in ways we don't realize. Think about how certain colors just make you feel a certain way.
Like blue is always calming and trustworthy, right? That's why so many banks use it.
You got it. And green is often associated with nature, growth, and health. Red, on the other hand, can be exciting, passionate, or even a little bit dangerous. Understanding these subconscious associations is key for web designers.
So it's like using color theory to subtly guide people's emotions and perceptions. It's like you're tapping into the psychology of color.
Exactly. And if you're going for something bold and energetic, maybe you sprinkle in some reds and oranges, it's all about setting the right tone and creating a cohesive experience.
So it's not just about picking colors you like, it's about strategically using them. to communicate a message.
Right. And the article actually has this great section on color palettes. It talks about how using too many colors can be overwhelming, kind of like that feeling when you walk into a room
Yeah.
and there's just too much going on visually.
I totally get that. It's like my eyes don't know where to look first, so I end up not really focusing on anything.
Exactly. And that's what you want to avoid on a website. Too much visual noise, it can be distracting and make it hard for people to find the information they're looking for. The article suggests sticking to a limited color palette. Ideally, no more than 3 main colors that work well together.
It's about creating that sense of harmony and balance.
Precisely. And you know what's interesting? The article mentions how color can actually be subjective. What looks like a vibrant red to one person might look more like a dull orange to someone else.
Wait, really? That's wild. I never thought about it that way. So what you see on a website might not be what I'm seeing.
It's true. Factors like individual differences in vision, age, and even cultural background, they can all play a role in how we perceive color. That's why it's so important for designers to be mindful of color choices and to test their designs on a variety of screens and devices.
That's blowing my mind right now. I had no idea so much complexity went into choosing the right colors for a website.
It's one of those things we often take for granted. But when you really start to pay attention, it's amazing how much thought and strategy goes into every little detail.
Okay, so after this deep dive, I'm looking at web design in a whole new light. What's one thing you think people should do after listening to this to really understand the power of these details?
That's a great question. I'd say take a look at your own website or a website you visit frequently and put on your design detective hat. Pay attention to the elements we've been discussing. The link colors, the forms, the layout, the fonts, the color palette. Then ask yourself, what kind of feeling do these elements evoke in me?
I love that. It's like becoming more aware of the language of design.
Exactly. Once you start to recognize these subtle cues, you'll be amazed at how much they influence your experience online. You'll start noticing things you never did before, and you'll be able to appreciate the thought and intention behind good web design.
It's like you're suddenly seeing the Matrix. But for websites,
Yeah.
all those hidden messages and subtle cues.
Right, and it makes you appreciate the websites that get it right, the ones that feel intuitive and enjoyable to use. They've clearly put a lot of thought into those details.
So it's not just about making things look pretty. It's about creating an experience.
Absolutely. It's about understanding your audience,
Yeah.
your message, and then using all these design elements to bring them together seamlessly.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on web design now.
Yeah, me too. It's always fun to kind of geek out about design.
And uncover the hidden psychology behind it. Well, on that note, I'll leave you with this final thought. As you go about your day, pay attention to the websites you visit. Think about the ones that make you feel good, the ones that you trust, the ones that you keep coming back to. What are those subtle design choices that contribute to that positive experience? Maybe it's the color palette, the font, the way the information is laid out. Once you start paying attention, you'll start to see those details everywhere, and you'll understand the power they have to shape our online experiences.
Thanks for tuning in to the Business Ignite podcast, where we fuel your business growth and marketing success. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to rate and review us. It does help others find the show. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Business Ignite Podcast and share this episode with a friend. Keep the fire burning, and remember, your success is just one strategy away. Until next time, stay ignited.